Hey there guys, this is Gary and welcome back to Get Going Fast, the place where we're getting into this excellent AI hobby in a quick and efficient manner in which you might actually learn something. Oh my goodness. So we're going to be looking today at a new model that came out called Flux.1 Kontext, and what it's going to be doing is by Black Labs, the same people that did our Flux models, which are awesome. And essentially what it's going to be doing is it's going to be working with image cohesion, where you're going to be able to throw in different images, and it's going to actually keep a lot of the stuff with it. You notice like her sweater is staying there and her face is not changing, putting her in different situations. Okay. Now this isn't the greatest quality image that I had, so that's why it's a little fuzzy, but still you're going to see you're able to take images and put them into different things here. So very cool stuff. This is kind of getting close to the holy grail of what we're looking for with image generation, in that we want to be able to make consistent stuff. You know, we want to be able to tell stories. Okay. NVIDIA actually came out, I don't know if you remember that, they came out, I can't remember what it was called here last year. They had something that was like had some kind of stupid name, but it was like the idea was it's a story you're telling, and it didn't really go over very well. But we're back. We've cut everything in the AI world, just kind of comes full circle. They work on something and then they go work on something else, and it kind of goes around, and then eventually everything works its way back. And so now FlexDev is actually giving us something which is very cool, which is going to be essentially copying just keeping character consistency, which, by the way, as I mentioned once before, I think this is the future of face swapping. Eventually someone will figure out how to get a model that you can do whatever you want with, and we'll be able to do a lot. It actually won't even be face swapping anymore. It'll be like face cloning. So going to be very cool stuff. So we're going to look at that today. I'm going to show you how to get the FP8 models. So that's going to be a like a quantized model, and the actual quant models. So those are all ways to take a larger model and make them so that we can run them with a little less VRAM resource needed. So I'm going to show you how to go through each one of these. All right. But before we do that, I do want to thank you for liking the channel and subscribing, sharing the video with other people. Going to your best friend's wedding, and as a gift, they open it up there and they're expecting money or a toaster or something, and instead you've actually got them a free membership to GetGoingfast.pro, and that is the gift that keeps on giving. They will be so surprised and in awe, especially your friend's new bride. I'm sure she will absolutely be into that. So very cool. Thanks for doing that and being forward thinking, thinking outside of the box with those kind of gifts. All right, well, we're going to move on here, get on with the fluxing it up, the kontexting it up here, and I guess we should probably do that just about now, yo. All right, so what we're going to do, as usual, is we're going to pop on over to our browser here. Let me click there, blap, 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 blap. Okay, so we're going to be looking for two things. We're going to be looking for these GGUF files over here, and we're going to also be using this FP8 version over here with ComfyUI. Now both these are going to be running different workflows, so we'll download both and I'll show you how to get the models for each. Now the difference is really just going to come down to the way that they make these models accessible for you. So remember, the goal is typically saying that you only have a certain amount of resource on your machine, right? We don't have big corpo level models. I wish we did, right? That can run mass amounts. We have smaller amounts. We have 16 gigabytes, we have 12 gigabytes, we have 24, that kind of stuff. And so what these models do is they do some impressive mathematics that take the data and they make it easier to use. Essentially, an FP8 allows us to take decimal points and kind of shrink them to be able to use them. We lose some precision, but it uses decimal points. Kind of the quants, essentially what we do is we just kind of do a hard chop off of data to actually just make the stuff smaller. So really the difference between these two are going to just matter depending on what kind of video card. If you have an older video card, your hardware isn't as new, you're probably going to want to go with the Quants. The Quants are going to work the absolute best. If you have newer stuff, if you got your 50 series, your 40s, then you might want to work with the FP8s, as this is actually designed for newer hardware and can go fast. But I'm going to tell you the little secret here about all this stuff. These models run fast regardless. I run on a 4090s, which means I'm a bit fine with the FP8. But guys, I've been running stuff and it's like 45 seconds to get your image. Maybe the initial model loading takes a few minutes, but after that, it's like under a minute to generate. It's incredibly fast, regardless of which one you're using. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at both of those. So before we do that, you're going to need to make sure that you have a ComfyUI installation. So you can always go to kontext.getgoingfast.pro. And this is a free manual installation that I've given for you. So you can go ahead and download that, and then all you got to do is just put that into a folder like so, and just extract it there. And then you can you'll get some of this here, you'll extract it, and then just click the install. And this is going to install your Sage Attention. This is going to install your Flash Attention, all your good stuff, all the stuff that you're going to want in this. This is just a free installation. So you're going to need this because we're going to be putting everything inside of this ComfyUI folder. Now, I should also mention that everything that we're about to do here, you can also get just by going to Kontext, that's Kontext with a K, getgoingfast.pro. And from over here, I have created a Quant Manager, so you can actually get this. This is free for all Farmhand members. You can buy this like just as a one-off if you want, but it's actually cheaper just to join as a member, and then you get everything on the site, okay? But there's a Quant Manager that you'll get, same thing over here in your File Explorer. Here we go. You just click it, you just extract it, click it outside of your ComfyUI folder, and it's going to pop up something that looks like this. And from here, you can actually choose which version you want, and then it will actually manage your dependencies. It'll manage the different models. So if you're working with the Quants, you get a list of all the different Quants that you can install. Then you can delete them if you want. So let's grab like the Q8 is probably the one that you want, but we'll go ahead and download one of these bigger ones just to take a look. But at any rate, so that is the absolute easiest, fastest, get going fast way to stick it outside your ComfyUI and get going. But what we need to do is we need to install this manually as well. So let's move forward over to here. And let's go find this Comfy page to work with. With a new Google search here, what we're going to do is we're just going to type in kontext, and then we're going to type dev, and then we're going to type ComfyUI. All right, and what that's going to do is you're going to take us right to the Comfy blog here, the tutorials, all this, and you'll find this one. It's called ComfyUI Flux Kontext Dev Native Workflow Example. Okay, this is always a really great place to find the stuff that we need. Here we go. And it's going to bring us over to here. So they have a lot of tutorials here. This is where we get a lot of our workflows, or if they've tied stuff into the ComfyUI, you're going to find it over here. So we're going to scroll through here, and you can read this if you want. It's going to tell you about what it does and blah, 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 blah. And then they're going to tell you the different versions, information, and then we're going to just be worried about this one, this Flux.1 Kontext Dev. And here's the key word, the open source version. Okay, so Flux, of course, always gives a open source version, but then they hold their pro stuff so that later on, if you want to pay them money for an API, you can. All right, so we're going to scroll down here and just kind of ignore a lot of this. Do notice it says the feature is currently experimental, so they might change stuff up in the future. And really what we're going to do is be concerned with this, the model downloads. So installing this stuff is really not that difficult because we don't have to install any special nodes with this because ComfyUI is integrated it into their own app. So really all we got to do is worry about getting the models and putting them into the right place. Okay, and so you're going to see what we're going to end up downloading is our diffusion models here. This is going to be our FP8 one. Now, when we get to using our quants, the quants are going to go into a different folder. This one's going to go into a folder called diffusion model. We have our VAEs, our text encoders, and down here you can see a graph of the file structure. So how you read this is everything to the left is your main folder. So here's your ComfyUI folder. So for instance, when I say outside of your ComfyUI folder, I'm talking about out here. Okay, but once you go inside of it, then you have a folder called models. And then you would click models, and then you find these other folders. And you can see each one of these tells you what's going to be there. So if we click over to our File Explorer, the equivalent would be this. You'd click into your ComfyUI, okay, and then there's your models folder, okay, and then there's your diffusion models folder. Okay, there's your UNet, all right. Notice again, we go back to here, and that's just like here, ComfyUI, and then inside of there's models, and inside of there's diffusion models, and these are the files. So this is a real easy way to get a visual understanding of how to place your stuff or how to find it. This is very common and honestly is very helpful. So you can always keep your eye open for something like that. So all we're going to do is just download these, really easy actually, and then we're going to get the workflow. Now the workflow, typically they come in what's called a JSON file, .json, but you can, with ComfyUI, you can integrate the workflow into an image. So all we're going to do is we're just going to actually save these pictures that they've given us, and that's going to have our workflow in it. So let's go ahead and get our FP8 installed. So let's do this. We're just going to, I think I'm going to click over to a desktop screen so you can see it. It's going to get messy for just a second, but this way then you can see every step of the process. One moment. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're just going to go ahead and grab first the file, the actual AI model, Flux.1 diff. So let's go ahead and we can click this, and it's going to pop up into this window here. And all we got to do is we got to find our ComfyUI folder. So mine here is going to be over here, okay? And then here's outside of our ComfyUI folder. Remember, we were talking the outside versus inside. So we're going to click in it, and then we're going to go find the models folder right there. And then we're going to put it here in this folder called diffusion models. If you don't have a folder that's called diffusion models, you can just go ahead and create it. But just click there and then save it. Now I'm not going to save it. I've already saved it, but you can see it's quite large. So it's over 11.5 gigabytes. Okay, so it's a large file. But you click it, get it done, get it done. All right. So we'll do that. Then we're going to click down here, and we're going to have to get our VAEs. Now, if you've been doing anything in the past with, you might already have this. So you can always check. You can go over to your, again, where your models are here. Oh, good Lord. Okay, hold on. Okay, and then you can click on your VAE folder. Trying to make this bigger for you, and you can see if you have it. Now again, I've already downloaded mine, but you might have already downloaded yours as well, which is the whole point, because these are now common files. Okay, but what you do, same thing, we just click on it, it opens up to this screen, and then notice it's going to say this file stored with get LFS. That means large file system, so it's too big to display. You can still download it. Okay, we're not worried about it. We're just going to click the download. Same thing. It's just going to pop up this window. Now, if you already saved it in the one, it'll still go to the, it'll already be in the folder. I didn't click save, so it swatted us out. But same thing, models, and then we're going to click on our VAE. Okay, I'll go ahead and save this one so it saves our location. Okay, and that'll start to download. Now, Move to the next one, this clip_i.savetensors. Same thing, it's going to bring us over here. Just click our download. Okay, this one, oh, look at, we didn't pay attention to where it's going to go. So we need to see where text encoders is going to go under this folder, text encoders. So we'll go back here, click it download. Okay, and then if we'll see up here, we're in the VAE folder, we can just click here, that'll take us back one. And then we'll click text encoders. Okay, there you go. And same thing, we can just click save, and it will begin to download that. Okay. Now down here, it gives us a choice with the text encoders. Like FP16 is going to be twice as big as FP8. FP8 is going to run a little faster. So you can play around with it. If you're having speed issues, get one or the other. But to be honest, you can just get them both. You might as well. Okay, so click on your FP16. Notice this one just is going to go to a straight download. So we'll click save. And we'll do the same thing with the FP8 here, and we'll click save. And then that's actually now done. Okay, so, well, when they finish downloading, they'll be done. Okay, and you can see they're that one's 9 gigabytes, the one's 4.8. Listen, if you're having an issue with speed, you got a slower machine or space, just grab the FP8 one. You'll be fine. Okay, it's half of the 16, but it's gonna be fine. It's just remember that we're using scaled numbers, less precise numbers. Okay, but it'll all work, and this thing works so fast at any rate. Okay, so now while those finishing download, we want to go and get this workflow here. So all we got to do is right click on the image, and we're going to say save image as. Then we're going to go, now we're in the text encoders folder. I'm going to go back 1, 2, I'm going to go back to outside of my ComfyUI folder. Now what I usually do is I like to create a folder outside of here called workflows, and then create a folder for each thing. So if it's vase, I'll create a vase folder. If it's frame pack, I'll create a frame pack folder. In this case, create a context folder, and then just click save, and it will save our workflow there. Okay? And guys, that's really all we need to do. So now it's just a matter of loading up our ComfyUI. And once we get the ComfyUI up, we're just going to click on our workflow up here. We'll click open, and then we can actually scroll over to where we downloaded the workflow. Okay, we actually do a couple different things. One, we can go here to where we downloaded the workflow, click it, and it will pop up the workflow like this. Okay, so there you go. And this is the full ComfyUI workflow that we're using. Now you can also, if you don't want to do that way, you can also just go over here and grab the image, like just click it, and you can drag it over to your ComfyUI, and you can just drop it on there. And it does the same thing. It'll just open up the workflow. Okay, now let's go through this really quick so that you can see how this works. So obviously this is done, and a lot of this is done in Chinese, so if you can't read Chinese, Okay, over here you just got your descriptions. We've already dealt with all this. This is your model links. So if you can't find your the ComfyUI page, but you have the workflow, you still can get all the links here. This is really nice when they do this. Okay, I really like when they do this because it means you can install it from the workflow itself. It talks about VRAM. So notice the FP8 requires about 20 gigabytes of VRAM. So if you're having less than 20, you probably want to go with the Quant models. And the nice thing about the Quant models, which you will see, is that you can really scale. Okay, and find if one's not working, you can go down and find another one that will. Okay, it's going to give us some prompt techniques. There are some different things going on here that are going to be important to get the image you want. So we can read this. In fact, we'll go over to back to the ComfyUI page and look at this. But this is really good stuff. This common problem solutions here is really good. So like the character changes too much. So instead of saying transform the person to a Viking, you'll say things like change the clothes to be a Viking warrior, while preserving facial features. Now, I have played with this, and I'm going to tell you that there's definitely something to be said for this. Like, the prompting is important. I'll get something, it will completely change what I'm trying to do. But if you prompt it right, then all of a sudden it will fix it. So really play around with those. You can get the answers to that there, or you can go back to our Comfy page over here where we downloaded this and just keep scrolling down. And you're going to find this, your prompt techniques, okay, and your common problem solutions. This is extremely helpful information that they've given you. Okay, now I want to show you this really quickly. If you've downloaded everything into the folder, all of this stuff should be fine. You shouldn't have to change anything, okay? You can always click run, and it will show you the things it can't find. But if you downloaded them into the correct file as is, you shouldn't have to change anything, okay? Now here's the key stuff down here. Notice this is where we're loading our images from, okay? So you can choose an image, okay? And it'll upload it, okay? Then over here is where we're going to prompt it, okay? So I've gotten this elegant style, create a portrait of a swan wearing a pearl tiara. What we could just do is say something like, change the background to an Olympic swimming pool, okay? And it's going to go ahead and take this image. All we have to do is click run, and it's going to take that image and it's going to change it. Now, I'm not going to do that right now because the system is laggy enough as is, but you're going to be great, okay? Change this really quick. All right. But that's all you have to do. Now notice this says load image from outputs. That means that when you create the new picture, so like if I created it with the Olympic swimming pool, I'm going to click this refresh button, and the last thing I created is going to show up here. And I believe that they do that so that I believe the reason that that does that is so that you can get the consistency issue going on. So that you can, wow, this got really big. Hold on. Hey. Not sure why that's doing that. All right, anyway, so that you can keep consistency with your images. So when you create the background, it'll just load that one back in there, and that way you can create a series of images, like a story. Now, let's say over here I want to go back to doing this. I want to use a second image. So notice this is purple, which means they've bypassed this. This isn't being used, so if we just right click on this and click bypass, it's going to bring it up. So now it's going to use these two images together. So I could say something like, probably the best way to prompt something like this is say, use the swan and the human in one scene, because sometimes what it'll do is it'll put the picture of the swan and the picture of this. So by prompting it one scene, that can really help, okay? And we'll say something like the swan and the human are dancing together. And it's going to go ahead and blend these two, okay? If I had a picture of a person over here, I could say the two people are hugging, you know, or whatever I want. You can really combine it. And one of the things that does help is if you do stuff like this, retain facial features. So this is heavily prompt driven, all right? But the same thing, you'll click these, and then you'll get your outputs. So you can see here I did a bunch of ones. There, see there, I changed the background. There, put a gal and the swan over here, and here they are hugging. Here's me and a gal, and we're hugging, you know. So there's just me and some aliens. Now, this one was just a single image. I just put my face, all it was my face, and then I put surrounded by aliens, you know, in the prompt, and it created that. Then I went ahead and it flowed into this refresh thing over here. And I said, okay, put him in a big city. Now put him on a dance floor. Now have his hands on his head. So you can see how these things can just flow from one to the other. Okay, so actually a very simple workflow. If you get the models down right, go, and guys, check out the time on this. Look at this one, took 26 seconds. This one took 27 seconds, 27 seconds, 26 seconds, 26, 27. So actually these are taking less than a minute to make. Okay, this one took a minute. Okay, I guess maybe because it had more stuff going on, I don't know, but really fast bit of time. So there you have it. That's the FP install. So let's move on now to getting the Quant models installed, which Quant, of course, will help. With the FP8, it's either going to work for you or it's not. With the Quant, we're going to be able to slide up, slide down, make it go fast. If it's going real fast, we can go to a higher model. If it's going real slow, we'll go to a slower model. So that could actually be a really great solution for you as well. So we'll get into that now. In the meanwhile, I want to encourage you guys to go to YouTube Music or any other streaming platform like Spotify or Apple Music and do a search for Jim Day and the Better Stories, where you can find all sorts of music, even good music like this.
I've been missing you, but now I miss all of you. I was angry and bold and by pride, and though I miss your sweet touch and my hands in your hair, I miss drinking coffee with you by my side. With you by my side, I never realized.
All right, this is the page that we're going to end up using. Now, this is from a guy named Bowlerwinds here, at least on his page. When you're using Quant models, you're going to find that there's typically a lot of different ones that you can find. People can Quant stuff on their own, you know, they're trying to make it a little bit better than the other fellow, this and that. So you often find a bunch. We're going to use this one. So they don't always work together, which is why they should have their own workflows with them. But you're going to see that this one actually is tied into City 96, and City 96 does a lot of good work. So probably this guy's just posting the stuff. So we're going to stick with these ones. Now, to find this, I will put the link in the description, okay? But at the same time, you probably could find it by doing a Google search for typing. We're going to type Flux, Kontext with a K, and then we'll type the guy's name, Bowlerwinds, and then Huggin' Face. We're going to give it every chance we can to find it. And we're going to be looking for this one here, Bowlerwinds, Flux.1 Kontext, Dev, GGUF, okay? So we go click that bad mammy jammer, and it's going to bring us back over to here. It actually brought us there. Click on our files and versions, okay? And you're going to see that we have all of our different quants, okay? BF16 is going to be the largest quant, okay? You probably won't be able to run that even with a 4090, although this model does run really fast. I'm interested to try it. The Quant 8, you're going to be fine with your higher stuff. I always suggest starting with a Q5 KS. It's typically good. It's almost full. It's fast, and then you can decide if you want to go up or you want to go back down. If it's too slow, then go down. If it's going real fast, say, hey man, I might be able to tweak out some more performance. But Q5 KS is a good place to start. But before we do that, what we want to do is we need to figure out what support models we're going to need. So if you notice over here, it's got this context example GGUF.png. Now we're going to click that, and it's going to bring up this image. Now this image is the workflow. So we'll end up saving this to our computer, okay? And then also pasting it into our ComfyUI installation. And then that's going to show us all the different models that we need. I'm actually looking at something over here for you guys. There, click that. That's going to actually then show us all the support models that we need, because we're going to download the quants, but we also need the VAEs and the text encoders and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so let's first of all just do this. Just on the context example here, just click this arrow and just save it to your folder. Okay, so again, I mentioned this before, it's probably best just to create a folder that is called workflows, and then make another sub menu in there called context. Is for each one. You could vase, for frame pack, for wand, whatever, and then save your different workflows in there, because otherwise it gets too confusing. So go ahead and save that. Okay, then what we got to do is we got to pop up our Comfy installation. Okay, and as usual, like we mentioned this already, but if you don't have your Comfy set up, just go over to comfy.getgoingfast.pro. It's free. Over here you can get a free manual installation. Okay, just grab the version you want. You probably want the 12.8 or the 12.6, unless you've got a 50 series model, then you grab the 12.8. If you got anything else, just grab the 12.6, and you probably don't need the 11.8. But get that going, load that bad boy up, and then we're going to load up the workflow, and the workflow is going to tell us what we need. So we're going to do that just now. And as you can see, we paste this in here, and then it pops up the workflow. Now this is different than the FP8 one, okay, because it's got to load the models different. We've got to use this UNet loader, okay. So notice this one defaults to your Q8, okay. It doesn't matter. We'll end up just grabbing whichever ones we want. But let's go ahead and look for some directions here. Okay, here's some notes. This is an error. It says Flux.1 Kontext dev set safe tensors. Okay, that's actually wrong. This is the Q5 stuff. Just ignore it. But this is correct. It goes in the ComfyUI models UNet folder. So we're going to put it there. Then we're going to need to get this T5XXL FP16. Okay, and the clip one, and those are going to go in our clip folders. Okay, and then lastly we're going to have AE.SafeTensors, and they're going to go in the VAE. So now, if you already did the ones from the FP8, you should already have these, okay? But, if not, we can go find them elsewhere. I'm going to show you probably the easiest way to get these. But first, let's go ahead and grab our model, whatever Q model we're going to use, and we're going to put it in the UNet folder. So let's go back to, let's close this out, bang. Let's go back here and we choose a model. So we choose our Q5KS, let's say. We're going to click that download, okay, and it's going to pop up like this. And we're just going to go find, see now I'm already in my ComfyUI folder here, so we'll just click ComfyUI. We'll go to our models. Then we're going to go find the UNet folder. Okay, now I've already got it downloaded, you can see. But go ahead and that's where you're going to save that one. Okay. Then we're going to go back to here. That'll download, and we need to find these other models. So there's a few different ways we can do this. One, you can just copy this and just paste it into here, and it will bring up something like this. Now this is coming from the Comfy Anonymous. This is a good place. So here, just paste it in there, go there, same thing. Click the download. Okay. Then that's going to pop this up again. This one is going to go into our folder called text encoders. So same thing, got ComfyUI, models, text encoders, okay? Hit the save. Okay, notice I've already got it in there. So if you did the other installation, you'll already have these probably. I think so. But go through it. If you don't have it, it'll throw an error. So do the same thing with clip1.SafeTensors. We'll copy it. Let's go over here, paste it in. Okay, there we go. We can click there. We can download it, throw it in the correct folder. Okay. No, these are actually supposed to go in the clip folder. My apologies. So I actually messed it up. So actually, FP60. So we're going to click on these. We're going to go download. And instead of putting it in the text encoders, actually we're going to put it in the clip. My bad. Okay, so then they'll go into here. So each when you're using FP8 and Quants, even though you got the same files, sometimes they have to go in different places. So we actually are going to end up downloading these again, and they go into here. Okay? That's why it's good to read the instructions all the way through. Okay, and then lastly, we'll do the same thing with AE.SafeTensors. And this one's going in, so same thing, just click it, download it, and then this time we will put it in the VAE folder. Okay, save that bad boy, and it is done. Now, what you'll probably need to do at this point is hit the refresh button. Okay, once everything's downloaded. Okay, and then you'll click here on your UNet loader, and it's going to show all the different stuff, and then your one will have loaded into here. So you click your Q5. Okay, now I want you to notice this one. Where's it at here? Hold on just a second. There it is. This one over here is only using one image. So this is not giving you a multiple image ability like the FP8, but you can still throw in an image and say change the hat, change the background, make them dance, whatever you want. So this one is not combining images. So you're a little bit more limited with this one. You might want to do the FP8 if that's the case there. But you've got your GGUF in here. This should all be set, and then all you got to do is click your, get your image, and then you click run, and it will go ahead and do something to it. Okay, but I'm actually going to show you how to add a second image to this. So this is what we're going to end up looking like over here. So what we're going to need to do is add this thing that's called an image stitch, and we're going to add another thing. So let's put this back the way that it was. I was playing around with this. We're done. Let's go ahead and I'm going to remove these, and I'm going to show you how you can transform. Boy, if I could get this to scroll enough. Okay, here we go. How to transform this. So what we want to do is a couple things. We want two images to work together. I don't know why they didn't add this in there for us, but whatever. We're just going to right click on the load image, and let's just click clone, and notice it's going to create a second image loader here. Okay, so now we can load image 1, we can load image 2. All right, whatever. All right, now we need to get some way. Notice we need to get them to work together. So what we're going to do is we're going to click this add nodes, and then we're going to go to loaders, we're going to go to image, and then we're going to hit transform, and you're going to see this one here that says image stitch. Then we're going to click that. Now real easy, watch, we're just going to reconnect these nodes, image 1, image 2, and then image out. Okay, now we've transformed this into a multiple image thingamajigger. So now we can go over here and we can say the wolf girl in the dress is hugging the redneck fellow by the car. Okay, or let's say take both the wolf girl in the dress and the redneck fellow by the car, and put them in the same scene. Okay, and that, we'll say they are hugging. That's important because sometimes it won't work. So let's go ahead and see how well that works. And there we have it. It went ahead and put them together. That's a goofy picture. All right, but it went ahead and did it. So we were able to add those two together. And then just go up here to your workflow, and then click your export, and that will prompt you to save it, give it a name, save it, and then you don't have to reload this every time. Okay, and I think that's pretty much it, and everything else you can just kind of figure out yourself, the height and the width, but everything works really good. So I think with that, we're going to go ahead and bring it to an end. I do appreciate you guys spending some time with me as we sort this out. Kontext is good stuff. As I've said, I think this is the future of face swapping. We're probably going to move to a world where we're not doing face swapping anymore. We're just doing face cloning. And this certainly is pushing us down that direction further and further, which is kind of exciting. So you guys, blah, 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 blah. I'm tripping over my own brain here. Go ahead and come meet us up at the Discord. Share your information with us. I'd love to see the Safe for Work stuff that you're working on. Come hang out with us. You know, we're happy to we spend our days together just working on this. Come be part of it. This is an excellent hobby, man, and it's a lot better when we do it with friends. You can, of course, join as a member over at GetGoingfast.pro, and over there, for a small amount, you get all the news, you get to be part of the community, and you get all this stuff free so that you can just get going fast, okay? And you get a little bit of access to me and my team as well, you know, just to get stuff running. If you want bigger access, you need to get your machines working, you're not sure what's going on, or you just want to make sure it's set up, you want to just get some one-on-one time, you can actually rent my time for a few hours, and I will get everything going, give you an understanding of your machine, work with you. Happy to do that. So you can also get a hold of me there. Go find us on Reddit, okay? Reddit is a bunch of scum trapped in a bag of scum, but we're the one bright and shining spot over there at Get Going Fast. So come be part of that. Share with us. We're looking for moderators if you want to be part of what's going on over there. You can find us on Instagram as CogniBuild. You can find us on X as CogniBuild. I mean, we're around, yo, and happy to help you because I do this full time, and so that's kind of exciting. I want to help you out. So I don't know what else to say. You guys have a good rest of your day, and we will catch up with you on the other side, yo.